Well, it's Friday, and that means films on FOX Toledo Daybreak.
Film editor from the Toledo Free Press, James A. Molnar, joining us this morning. And we're going to talk about some Oscar buzz. I think there were a couple of snubs, too.
There were. You know, a lot of people are talking about Robert Redford getting snubbed, Emma Thompson from one of my favorite movies of the year, Saving Mr. Banks, and even Tom Hanks for Saving Mr. Banks and Captain Phillips.
Did I also hear that Joaquin Phoenix was snubbed on one of them?
He was for her, and so was Oprah Winfrey. So, but what I was, talking on the radio this morning is that a lot of people, you have to realize there are only 5 slots for a lot of these categories except for Best Picture. And you know what? Sometimes it's a very competitive year, especially this year. The Best Actor category was the most competitive we've seen in quite a few years. And so, of course, Best Picture, sometimes it fluctuates between 5 and 10 nominees. And this year we had 9 nominees, and so I can give you a rundown of those.
Let's do it.
So you have American Hustle there. You also have let's see, I have to pull it up here.
And there's Captain Phillips.
Captain Phillips, of course. Dallas Buyers Club. And then, yeah, we are almost like watching them as they're reading them right with us. Then you have Gravity, my favorite movie of last year. Absolutely phenomenal. Her in theaters, I reviewed this last week, 5 out of 5 stars. Phenomenal movie. Joaquin Phoenix, yes, a little snub there. Nebraska, this is a really good movie as well. And Philomena, that one was kind of a surprise. Judi Dench getting a nomination as well. Great movie. 12 Years a Slave, one of my favorites. I think this is the one to beat for the Best Picture win, and we'll find out on March 2nd for that. And of course, The Wolf of Wall Street, not my favorite movie of all, but overall, it is what the Academy likes.
Got snubbed in this category, or did you not?
You know what? I didn't think it was the best movie of the year. And you know what? These 9 were very good, and quite frankly, I think the Butler really only had Oprah going for it, and Oprah kind of got shafted because Meryl Streep got in her 18th nomination, Oscar nomination.
Wow.
She just keeps beating her own record. And so overall, though, American Hustle did really well. So did, with 10 nominations. Gravity did really well with 10 nominations. And so did 12 Years a Slave with 9 nominations.
I'm sometimes surprised because I think that the Academy thinks differently than those of us who actually go see the movies because of, pure entertainment.
So I have the full list of nominees on my blog at thegoldknight.com. But you know what? Even with Oscar season, there are still movies coming out this weekend.
That's right, and we want to talk about those. Let's Jack Ryan.
Yes, Jack Ryan is in theaters, and we haven't seen him since Sum of All Fears a few years ago. This is Tom Clancy's character, and multiple people have played this character over the years. Harrison Ford, Alec Baldwin, Ben Affleck, most recently in 2002. And this one's back, and Chris Pine plays Jack Ryan here. Really enjoyable performance here. I would say, though, that if you strip out all of the good acting, even Keira Knightley's in this too, and Kevin Costner, if you strip out the acting, the script is kind of so-so, but overall, it's an enjoyable movie. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. It's an enjoyable ride. It's not bad for considering it's kind of a January release date, which sometimes the movie studios dump these movies out. But overall, fun ride, 3 out of 5 stars. Pretty enjoyable.
Okay. Next we have August Osage.
Yes, August Osage County. This one didn't get a Best Picture nomination, but Meryl Streep and Julia Roberts both got well-deserved acting nods from the Academy for this. Meryl Streep is absolutely phenomenal in this movie, and you are not going to like her after you watch this movie. She's kind of a curmudgeon mother. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this, and this is based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning play. The writer of the play actually translated it into a screenplay, and I went with one of my friends who saw the play and said it's wonderful. It's a fantastic translation.
And a lot of times that doesn't happen when you compare, books or plays to the movies. A lot of people tend to like one or the other, but
the cast is phenomenal in this movie, and this is one to see. But it is a very, very, very dark comedy. Lots of swearing. So if you're gonna go, it's not lighthearted comedy like some of the studios are promoting it to be. So just be aware of that.
We could talk to you all day about movies, but unfortunately we got to let you go. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
And since it's your Friday, it means that it's time for some films.
Yeah, that's right.
WTOL 11.
Film editor from the Toledo Free Press, James A. Molnar, is with us this morning, and we're going to first talk Oscar talk, because that's really the buzz right now.
Oh, absolutely. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences nominated its 86th annual Academy Award nominations and announced them yesterday morning. You had Thor himself announce the nominations with Academy President. And so let's go through some of the Best Picture nominees. You have starting off with American Hustle. This is David O. Russell's film. Fantastic movie. Captain Phillips here. Note for this movie, Tom Hanks did not get nominated, but Matthew McConaughey did get the nomination for lead actor in a leading role there, and with Dallas Buyers Club. You also have Gravity, my favorite movie of last year. I absolutely loved this movie, and I mentioned it on my top 10 list last week as well.
That one kind of pushed the boundary of technology too, and kind of
absolutely
the
best
movies.
It was the best 3D I've seen in a long time. And of course, you also had Her nominated, Nebraska. Fantastic movie as well, and Philomena, one of my top 10 movies. It was actually a surprise to see the nomination for Best Picture for Philomena. Judi Dench was phenomenal, and she got the nomination as well, which was great. And 12 Years a Slave, Chiwetel Ejiofor got the nomination as well.
And this is really the movie to beat, isn't it?
I think so. For Best Picture, we'll see on March 2nd, of course, when we see that. And of course, The Wolf of Wall Street was also nominated as well. Jonah Hill getting a surprise nomination in the supporting actor category. And I think Leonardo DiCaprio is the one to beat for Best Actor. So it was a fun nomination, and also so you had Gravity, American Hustle, 10 nominations total, and of course 12 Years a Slave with 9 nominations. So it is going to be a very interesting to see, and you can read about the full nominations on my blog at thegoldknight.com.
What or who got the snub this year?
Well, there were a few that people were talking about. Robert Redford for All Is Lost, kind of an individual movie for him. Oprah Winfrey, didn't see her or anything from The Butler.
You should not be snubbing Oprah. I'm just going to go out on a limb.
You know, it was just a big, it was a big, lots of big names. Meryl Streep got her 18th acting nomination, and Woody Allen got his 16th writing nomination. So you had just a lot of big names also get snubbed. Tom Hanks didn't get in, and so it was just a large field that was a little tough to get into.
All right, so a lot of good movies if you haven't seen them. Also out in theaters now. Let's talk about what you're reviewing right now.
Jack Ryan, The Shadow Recruit. Chris Pine is the new Jack Ryan, and this is actually the 5th film in this franchise, kind of a reboot. They kind of give you his origin story. If you remember this character, Alec Baldwin, Harrison Ford, and Ben Affleck most recently played this movie. Yeah, this is an action film, a thriller, a spy kind of genre film here, and Chris Pine plays someone who's in the CIA. He's recruited, kind of as the title says, and he's dragged kind of into the field. He's more of an analyst, and so this movie, I would say, if you didn't have Chris Pine, Kevin Costner, and Keira Knightley in this movie, probably wouldn't have been as exciting, but overall, enjoyable movie. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars.
Okay, sounds good. And that's in theaters right now?
Yep, as of today.
Okay, sounds good.
It's my kind of movie.
Yeah.
Sweating watching the previews.
And we have another one, August, Osage County.
Yes, this is the one that Meryl Streep and Julia Roberts were nominated for yesterday at the Oscars. This is actually an adaptation of a play, a Pulitzer Prize winning play. Fantastic. I actually went with one of my friends who saw the play, and he said this was a wonderful adaptation. Kind of interesting how they took a play that was set in just the house, the family house, and kind of turned it into a movie. Meryl Streep is phenomenal, but I will tell you that this is a very dark comedy. There are a lot of F words. You've never heard Julia Roberts swear so much in this movie. Meryl Streep is a terrible person in this movie, and at times it is extremely funny, extremely sad. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I love this, but just remember, this is going to be an intense movie. There are a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, and a lot of swearing.
And it just centers around that one family? It's just a movie about them?
Yes,
okay.
And the father kind of goes missing, and so they bring in the 3 daughters. Meryl Streep calls her 3 daughters, and they bring her in, and kind of drama ensues.
James, you break it down like we could never, so that's why we have you in. So thanks so much for coming by and your expertise on that.